Hey metalheads, you like tattoos? Of course you do. If you're in the Louisville, Kentucky area, come on over the bridge to Clarksville, Indiana, and get you some ink done at Ageless Art. If ink isn't your thing, they have a piercing studio as well. Visit agelessartclarksville.com to see some frequently asked questions, meet the staff. The shop is open Monday through Thursday, 12 to 8 p.m., Saturdays, 12 to 10 p.m., and Sundays, 12 to 6 p.m., all appointment-only spots. You can set up your appointments by phone at 812-283-1793 or email agelessarttattooandpiercing@gmail.com and someone will get you set up for your first or your next tattoo or piercing.
Hey, it's Jeff McNichol down here at Mom's Music, 1900 Melwood Avenue. I was just thinking, when I was a kid, the magic was at Frankfort Avenue, the Mom's Music at Frankfort Avenue, and I used to beg people to get a ride down there just to hang out with the guys and see all the cool gear. Now that I'm the owner of this store, it's like a dream come true. We're recreating the magic with the vibe that we used to have at the old store. We're carrying all the gear that you're going to possibly want. We're giving you the outstanding service and personal attention that you deserve. Yeah, so we've got the great guitar shop here. We're carrying USA Fender, USA Gibson, Paul Reed Smith, Gretsch, Jackson, Charvel, anything you could possibly want, we're going to have it for you. Mom's is and always will be Louisville's music store.
Thank you for tuning into the Metal Forge. I am Mark Jackson and I am your host. The premise of the show is pretty simple. Awesome interviews and awesome music. If you want to contact me, hit me up at metalforgeradio@gmail.com or visit the website metalforgeradio.com. And now, let's get this show on the road. What is going on, metalheads? Thank you all for tuning in to this week's episode of the Metal Forge. How the hell are you guys? Here we are. We're almost at the end of summer. There's still a lot of shows going on, though. Like tomorrow. This is August the 12th, by the way, the day this is coming out. But in Indianapolis at Black Circle Brewing, there is Heavy Hell 3 with the super awesome headlining band Midnight. There's a lot of bands. Check them out. If you're in the Indianapolis area, go to it. There's just so much stuff going on. But before we talk about more, I have members of the Gavel here in the Metal Forge, and we're going to be talking about their awesome upcoming metal extravaganza that is out there. That's just kick-ass fucking thrash metal. It's going to punch your teeth down your throat, and that's what it's all fucking about. It's fucking punching your fucking teeth down your throat metal. Hell yeah. But, yeah, let's talk about some other things here. Some cool stuff. You know, there's a lot of tours going on. There's a lot of shows, and it's almost like, holy fuck, I want to go to so many of them. But it's like, there's so many shows going on at the same time that how are you going to make everything? What do you do? How do you weigh out your choice? Because it's like, do I go see this band that's like so fucking cool that I want to go see? And then there's always these other fucking bands that are cool too. How do you make your choice? Me, I tend to go on the side of what's closest. And if it's like something that, if there's more than one band at a show that I want to go see, I'll go see that show that has the more than one band, because hey, I'm always down to see anybody, but if there's like 2 or 3 bands on a bill that I want to see, and really that's really all I want to do is go see a 2 or 3 4-band bill. I don't want to sit there for 19 bands a lot of the time because it's a big deal. But I will say this about Heavy Hell 3. They are absolutely doing the right thing because it's a one-day event. You know, it starts at like noon. It goes until like midnight. It's one day. It's awesome because those, to me, those festivals are the ones that I get the most out of. Not this spend 4 days of vacation, you know, camping out and such. but that's just me. So, another new feature that I'm going to do this week is, and I know I keep saying, oh, another new feature. When it's not really a feature, it's like, hey, it sounds good this week, so let's try it, right? It's the ADD Metal Forge here, it's like, oh, look, a squirrel, what? Anyways, no, I'm going to ask you guys a question that I asked the band this week, and let's see what your answer is going to be. So please give a comment on the post when you hear this. But if you choose to be cremated, where would you want your ashes spread? Do you want them spread anywhere? You want them in the lake? Do you want them, in the ocean? Do you want to leave them on the mantelpiece? That's all big stuff, or is it going to be like the Big Lebowski, where they scatter Donnie's ashes and he gets picked up by the breeze and all over the dude, man? So seriously, what would you say? Give a comment on the post. Well, we're going to go ahead. We're going to check in with Jason this week from the Heavy Metal Wasteland. He is here to talk about the new Amon Amarth album, The Great Heathen Army, which just recently came out. So, hell yeah, let's check in with Jason on this and see what he has to say.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Wasteland. Today I'm recording this on August 5th, so I don't know when it will be published, but it's a big day for me personally in the world of stuff I'm a fan of. The new Predator movie has released. I have high hopes for it, especially compared to the last one that was a total piece of garbage. At the time of recording this, I have not watched it yet, but I will have a review of it on me and Mark's new podcast called The Mudhorn, which you can find on YouTube. Please subscribe if you're interested. It should be up by the time this gets published. More importantly, though, my favorite band has released their 12th studio album. That band is Amon Amarth, and the new album is called The Great Heathen Army. So, leading up to this album, I really wasn't getting too excited about it. The first two songs were released as videos, and I wasn't feeling either one of them. The Great Heathen Army is okay. The Get in the Ring song is kind of weak, especially since it's one of their lead-off songs, and those are usually some of their best songs. So after hearing them, I was kind of like, well, I guess this is their one album where it just kind of falls flat for me. And, that's okay, because I really shouldn't be greedy, because I've got like 8 great albums in a row from them. Another thing that they differed on, which I thought was weird, is the cover was not a kick-ass illustration. It was just a picture of them. And that was kind of jarring to me, because their album covers are pretty iconic. I mean, look at the Surtur Rising cover, the Thunder God cover, the Yom Viking cover, the Berserker cover. They're all really great covers. And just seeing them on the cover, I don't know, it just struck some doubt in me. So, I didn't pre-order the record like I usually would. I decided to wait to see how it was before I bought it. Upon listening after track 2 into track 3, this album grabbed me and never let go. This is probably one of their best albums, and maybe would be their best album, not for the first 2 songs, for me personally. There's some pretty experimental stuff on here as far as the drumming goes. There's some shuffle beats, which is pretty unusual for death metal. There is very sing-along choruses, but the core of Amon Amarth sound is still there. It's Johan Hegg's vocals delivery. It's the kind of really fast, sweet-picking guitar playing style of their riffs, and the guitar harmonies that just pop up in the on the bridge section a lot of times. So if you're into Amon Amarth, or like Amon Amarth some, or or a casual fan, seen them live, whatever, I would say check this album out. It's really, really good. If you're not into Amon Amarth, or just one of those types that just think they all sound the same, this album will probably be a pass for you. It's not that much different, but it's different enough to be a little bit interesting for them. They've had a lot of collaborations in the past. They had the late L.G. Petrov on Guardians of Asgard off the Twilight of the Thunder God album. They had Messiah Marcolin, I think I said that right, on the song Hell from Deceiver of the Gods. They had Doro Pesh on the song A Dream That Cannot Be off the Jomsviking album. And this album features Biff Byford on the song Saxons and Vikings, which is pretty cool because if you didn't know that Biff Byford is actually the lead singer for the song Saxon. And I want to say something about the songwriting on this one song in particular. When Biff Byford takes over on vocals, it's a total contrast from Johan Hegg's deep growl vocals, and the whole song dynamic changes in this song, but the riff doesn't change for him. It stays the same. It's quite amazing, actually, the songwriting on this one, how it has two totally different feels with two different singers, yet is pretty much the same music. So, if you like collaborations, you know, especially like oil and water collaborations, like death metal and power metal-ish vocals, check this one out. It's pretty damn awesome. They kind of just trade insults and you know, talk about what they're going to do to each other as far as torture racks or, you know, beheadings with swords go. But that's all I'm going to say about the album. Like I said, to me, it could have been top 3 if not for the first 2 songs, but it's still one of my albums of the year so far. Again, I want to thank Mark for giving me a few minutes of his time on his excellent podcast. And remember, guys, it's still hot as fuck out there, and I think hot as fuck isn't even a good enough description for how hot it really is. I'm in North Carolina. It is brutal down here with the humidity. Besides that, just make sure you stay safe, stay hydrated, stay heavy, and we will talk to you guys next time.
Thank you, Jason, so much for doing that this week. You know, I like thrash. I'm pretty basic when it comes to my metal that I just listen to on the daily. You know, I listen to a lot of old shit, of course. Not so much newer stuff. I don't get it. Not so much newer stuff from established bands. Let's just say that, like Amon Amarth, Megadeth, Slayer. You know, I don't really listen to a lot of their new stuff. I mean, I might buy it, but I might give it a once listen. But I'm a media hound when it comes to that. But you know, the whole thing, I never really got into Amon Amarth. I guess the whole Viking metal thing or whatever it is, I just didn't get. There's some other bands that do that stuff that I just don't get, man. It's not that I don't get it. It's just it's not my thing, you know. But anyways, it's all good because that's what it's all about. It's metal is whatever you want it to be. That's the real thing here. Is, you know, if you want to be Viking metal, you want to be thrash, you want to be doom, you want to be sludge, you want to be power, you want to be, I don't know, Care Bear metal. Let's have a Care Bear metal band out there, you know. I'm sure somebody's going to do it. I mean, because that's what it's all about. It's all about whatever you want to do. So let's go ahead and let's be judge, jury, and executioner for the Gavel. This is Midnight Mistress.
Waiting for this
All right, metalheads, this is super fucking cool because now we're going to Illinois this week. In Antioch, Illinois, the Gavel is here. Who do I have on the line from the Gavel today, guys?
Jim.
Alex.
Hell yeah. Welcome to the Metal Forge. How is Illinois these days?
Hot, humid.
Just kind of like everywhere else I'm hearing, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
So, I mean, yeah, this hot and humidity bullshit, it's getting kind of old already. I don't like the snow. Okay, I don't mind cold weather, but I hate the snow. So if I can live in a place where it gets kind of cool and doesn't get super fucking hot, I think I would be good.
I'd be down for a place, with no humidity, and the heat is fine, but driving in the snow is horseshit, to say the least.
Yeah, to say the least, yes. It's so fucking terrible. I can't wrap my head around people who live in fucking upstate New York and Maine and Minnesota and fucking places like that, where it gets fucking snow 10 months out of the year, it seems like.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no thanks.
Right. So tell everybody out in Metal Forge land about the Gavel.
All right, well, we started a few years ago just as 4 dudes who love Metallica and just wanted to jam a bunch of Metallica songs. So we kind of did that in our bass player Miles' basement. We just started jamming and just playing Sabbath songs, Metallica songs, whatever. And then it kind of came to a point where it was, hey, how come we're not writing our own songs?
Mm.
And then, kind of took off from there. And, we wrote a demo kind of a thing and started trying to get some shows. And then COVID hit and shut everything down. And now we're all on the backside of that with a new thing coming out, or a new thing out now. And, just jamming, playing shows, and loving Metallica, I guess.
Well, definitely. And I think that's where bands of certain generation, that's where they really get their thing, the bands you first get into kind of things. I first got into Black Sabbath. Yeah. And then, then you discover it's like they're a gateway band because they're everywhere. You always hear Paranoid or whatever, but then you get in to see what's heavier and what's heavier and what's heavier.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's kind of been my whole path in music. It started with Metallica and they've remained a constant, but yeah, it's just the more extreme, the better. How deep can we get in? I pretty much, aside from, the classic stuff, Metallica, Motorhead, Sabbath, all that stuff. I've almost exclusively listened to black metal and death metal, and other than that,
Definitely. Yeah, see, when it comes to me, I really need to get more into black metal and death metal and stuff because there's so much. I'm getting more into it, yes, but there's so much out there that you can't scrape the surface naturally.
Yeah, well, and especially now, the whole resurgence of the old school death metal vibe and all that stuff. There's so many new bands that are really, really good, and there's so many bands that are current bands that are just putting out killer albums within the last few years, especially with that whole COVID where everybody's got time to write. It's been a plethora of just awesome extreme music.
Oh, absolutely it has. But it's super cool because, there's so many people, like I said, that's out there that you could almost ask any of your peer group and your friends to sit there and say, hey, what's a band that I could get into? And you would get different answers from almost everybody.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. That's huge.
Oh, absolutely. So you just recently released Eternal Hell, which came out back at the end of July. It's only been out a couple of weeks here. Mm-hmm. Tell me about Eternal Hell.
It's we tried to get a little faster, a little heavier, a little more scary sounding. We definitely came from a hardcore background, but as time goes on, we're more metalheads than we are hardcore kids. So we definitely trying to bring the spookiness out, and we love Slayer and everything. Lyrically, it's all just it's about hell and Satan and being possessed and all that kind of stuff. And we're trying to keep somewhat of a theme to the album, but there's a couple oddball things in there.
For sure. And I see that it has 7 tracks on it, and the overall length is 21 minutes. So we've got an average 3-minute, like, fucking speed shit here going on.
Oh, yeah.
In and out, man.
Well, absolutely. And I think that's a big thing. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
What was that?
I think that's how it is. Like, I look at, like, because I'm looking at the track lengths here, and I see one that's like 152, one that's 2 minutes, stuff like that, and it's like, yeah, that's fucking kicking in and out. But then again, you sit there and, you mentioned the Slayer a minute ago, and I think, like, there's some tracks on Rain and Blood that are that way too, that are like 1.5, 2 minute tracks that, like the song itself, Raining Blood, is a shorter track.
Right. But yeah, it's, if you get in and the song makes its point, there's no reason to keep circling back or anything like that. And I think that's kind of where we, the overall how we kind of think about it. If the song's good, there's a good ending point. Hit a point with the song, and it sounds and feels like it should be done. And why drag it out for another? Why write a 7-minute song when the song could be done in 3 minutes or whatever? I guess.
Oh, exactly. And I think that's, with me being a huge Metallica fan as well, I think that's where, especially in, do you want to say the modern era? Because it goes back to Load and Reload also, where, they're writing 7, 8, 9 minute songs.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's like, Maiden does that on the regular, but, like, is it warranted from everybody? That's one of the things that the 80 minutes of music kind of thing for a single album is kind of a bit much for me.
Right. And I could see, back in the 80s, 90s, whenever, when you had to go out and you had to seek all this music. So, you're buying an album, you want as much out of that album as you can get. Now, everybody's attention span is so small and so short. It's like, if something doesn't click right away, they're just going to skip anyway. So, and move on to the next thing. So, the shorter albums, I feel like there's kind of a sweet spot where you have something that's, maybe somebody can listen to on a drive into work, or something like that, or they're doing something else, wrenching in a garage or whatever. And, you hold their attention for, as short as they're, before they're already on to the next thing. So, you keep things kind of short, and it's kind of, you hit a sweet spot where everything is.
Oh, absolutely. And like what you just said, and that's how I gauge, my albums, because I think it's something interesting out there that you write to the medium you want to put it out on. Rather. You write to the media you want to release on. For example, you have about 45 minutes worth of time on vinyl.
Right.
So everything nowadays, because vinyl is such, like a hot commodity for bands to release, you're going to write to where you can get the maximum length without sacrificing the sound.
Right. And put out what you can, well, and for the second half of that is vinyl is so expensive. So you definitely want to use up what you can out of it, make it worth spending the money to do the vinyl to begin with too. So.
Oh, absolutely. And, especially with COVID and everything, where the plants got shut down and everything went and has been, released a year later type shit.
Yeah. And I love vinyl. I mean, I buy vinyl because that's my biggest. I mean, Spotify, it doesn't do much other. It's good promotional tool and everything, but it doesn't do much for the bands. But that's how I support the bands that I like, is I'll buy their vinyl so that I can support them directly. Is kind of, that's how I look at it. I don't even necessarily. I mean, I listen to it, a decent amount, but I'm more so that I can directly support the bands, because I mean, Spotify, it's a good promotional tool, but nobody's getting paid off it.
Oh no, not even if you have, 1 million streams, you're not getting rich off of it. Now, right. And that's the thing too, where, you see at the year end thing where they release the info to the artist to see how many streams they had and so on, like the year in review type thing. And, you see bands like Metallica releasing like, oh, we had 857,000 hours streamed last year. And it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
But then,
that's most of that time was just this band listening to Metallica.
Yeah. right. That was 800 of the 57,000.
Yeah.
Right. But then you get those ones out there that are these independent bands that all of a sudden, that they have like 1.5 million streams, and it's like, wow, that's fucking awesome.
Right. Yeah.
And what happens, it's like, again, nobody's getting rich off of it.
Yeah, it's. I mean, and not saying that that's the goal, because it's not a lot. I would say for most of the bands out there, that's not the goal. But it sure would help a lot of things, like just merch in general, buying merch or buying getting albums pressed, or just as easy as gas money to and from the shows that we're going to play. Just a little bit of money helps. Where it's needed, I guess. And it's no one's trying to get rich, but yeah, you can't even the Spotify listens and stuff like that, or your streaming listens, no matter how it goes. I mean, it ain't even gonna pay for gas money to and from any of the shows.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, definitely helps us. Yeah,
if
definitely.
you got good numbers on your plays, promoters see that, and hopefully that can draw in an audience.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like almost like an EPK at that point.
Yeah,
it's like or you're on Spotify. Well, yeah, I'm on Spotify. Well, and then they can check your plays and your reviews and stuff like that, which is cool. But I still kind of long for the days of picking up a telephone and calling a venue and saying, "Hey, can I drop this demo by?" And you give it a listen. Maybe we can get a show there on the the local level. Sorry,
right,
try not to say the L word here, because we're all independent musicians
doing footwork and stuff.
Right. And it's really cool to be able to, there's still places that do that. Hey everybody, let me tell you about the new sponsor to the Metal Forge, Unchained Tapes. They're an independent Pennsylvania tape label. They focus on extreme metal and punk with a killer approach to the tape scene. Visit their web store at unchainedtapes.bigcartel.com now to get your fill of tapes. And for being a Metal Forge listener, enter the code METALFORGE10 at checkout to get a 10% discount on your total purchase. That's unchainedtapes.bigcartel.com.
Hey, it's Mark Maxwell at Maxwell's House of Music. Listen, all this stuff is now available to purchase on our website. Check it out at maxwellshouseofmusic.com.
We carry all the top brands, like Fender.
We got Gibson.
We also have basses.
We've got ukuleles.
We got drums.
We've got sound gear.
We've got keyboards.
Welcome to the night. You think you know Night Demon? Then the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast is for you. Step into the darkness as we peel back the curtain to give you an unprecedented, all-access look into the mind and the heart of the demon. We're talking band history, song analysis, studio anecdotes, stories from the road. It's everything a diehard Night Demon fan could want and more. This is the only place to learn the inside scoop, the deep dive trivia, the untold tales from the band members themselves and those closest to the Night Demon story. Need more? The sacred Night Demon Crypt will be pried open to reveal demo recordings that have never before seen the light of day, all with in-depth commentary by the band and the people who were there for the writing and recording process. This is a gold mine, a treasure trove of all things Night Demon. Head over to nightdemon.net or wherever you listen to podcasts. For me, we were talking about the vinyl. I still buy CDs. I love getting records and stuff, but like none of my friends want to help me move 2,000 albums or 5,000 albums. So it's time consuming. It's space. It takes up a lot of space. It looks cool, yes, but practicality wise, that's why I buy CDs still.
Yeah, well, yeah, they're a hell of a lot easier to move. That's for sure. You can have a box full of them and have twice as many in there as the vinyl.
Oh, for sure, and still be able to carry it and not have to use a hand truck or anything.
Yeah,
Which I also like to bring up artwork and stuff like that on the show as well. The logo is fucking rad as shit.
Thanks.
I think all good metal bands have a great logo. That's where it starts. You know, they're instantly recognizable. You know, Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, Anthrax, you know, they're all Exodus. They're all instantly recognizable logos.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a big thing. We're trying to, you know, we're getting ready to try and figure out, you know, how the hell are we going to do this thing? It ended up being like, you know, well, we want something legible. We want something bold, you know, and kind of, like I said, we all love Metallica. We all love, you know, that whole 80s era thrash, and kind of, you know, palette wise, as far as, you know, how the artwork flows, you know, it's kind of almost horror movie-esque as well. And that's kind of what happened. I designed the logo. I drew it up, and then, yeah, we've talked about changing it. It's usually a kind of overwhelming no, this is our logo.
Definitely. And yeah, you can see the influence from the Metallica in there, but it's like it's on its own level too, because like how, you know, the G and the L, how they do the point down like the Metallica logo does, but then you get the V that is just like this piercing dagger.
Yeah, we get a lot of people seem to like it. And I think it's cool. I like it. I think it's awesome that people are into it. And like I said, it's or to your point is the instant recognition of just being able to, that's the Gavel. You know, there's no mistake in it. It's you know, it's not hard to read. It's very bold, and it's nicely on a shirt.
Definitely. Well, and I think too, with a good logo like that, is it not only is instant recognition, but it's also like, you know exactly what you're getting with it. You know,
right, yeah.
if you had a logo like this and you were, you know, a boy band, it wouldn't make sense.
Right. Yeah.
You know
yeah.
exactly what you're getting with this. You know it's going to be heavy. You know it's going to be thrash. It's going to be, you know, it's going to be something that's going to be aggressive.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely the truth about that. I mean, it's like I said, we were kind of going for just the 80s vibe and you know, going with that in that direction, and that's kind of what came out, and it's worked pretty well. I think, you know, people seem to really dig it, and I've gotten a lot of compliments just hanging out at the merch table and stuff at shows, and a lot of people come up and ask about it. The guy who did our album artwork, he complimented it, said it was real cool and everything, you know, because you know, he designed he drew up the album artwork, and, you know, it was something he had sitting around and we ended up buying, but he really liked the logo too, and we get a lot of compliments on it. It's awesome.
Absolutely. And the album artwork, or it's album EP, however you want to look at it, I think anything over 6 songs should be considered an album. I think it's actually based on time, but
yeah,
so
it's short.
Right. For the album, was done by Defame, right?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So
Which
we had him. He just happened to. I happened to come across his stuff, and I mean, I follow all the bands in the Holy Mountain and all the stuff that he's drawn for. I think he's drawn for like Gate Creeper and stuff too. But it's one of those things. Is like it just happened to pop up in my feed one time. I'm like, we're looking for, you know, what's going to convey eternal hell? How are we going to do that? And that circle skull kind of just popped up, and I'm like, man, I wonder if he got that for sale. And he did.
See, and I like it because, like, it's total 80s horror film. Like, it brings out, like, with the white eyes and the skull, you know, yeah. It brings out, like, things like Evil Dead.
Yeah.
You know, in Evil Dead 2, for example, like, where the deer in Evil Dead 2, how when it gets possessed, it has the white taxidermied eyes.
Oh, yeah.
That's exactly what it reminds me of. And then,
you got the right here, man. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And then, you know, just the skull in general, because, hey, I'm a metalhead. Skulls are fucking cool. Just like with the sharp teeth and everything else. It's like, yeah, it's total fucking metal.
It's the simplicity of it. It's the, you know, it's the universe. It's universally known. It's like, oh yeah, this is definitely going to be a metal album, you know.
And it fits the lyrics too. And just even on their first recording, it's not gore at all, but it's definitely like horror movie inspired. And, you know, it's not pretty lyrics. You know, they're
right.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that, you know, horror and metal and, you know, just all of that stuff goes hand in hand.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. 100%.
You know, to me, I think that the deal with metal is that it's being that it's so aggressive, you know, it's metal takes from the part of life that everybody thinks sucks and turns it into a positive.
Oh, yeah.
You know, this is why we're not okay with this. You know, this is, you know, this should not happen, and this is me bitching about it.
Right,
really,
yeah.
I mean, in a sense, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an outlet, you know. It's all music in general is, you know, is an outlet. But yeah, especially this is you know, it's an outlet, and everybody getting together, and you know, everybody's got the same kind of problems. You know, it's just a matter of, you know, how you're interpreting the song and the lyrics and everything. I mean, music is subjective enough to where, you know, you might pull something different out of a song that, you know, you're having trouble with and that I do. And, you know, you get the same outcome. You just get some relief or an outlet or just something that makes you feel good.
Oh, for sure. So with this being released just here within the last couple of weeks, what are you all planning on doing? Are you all planning on having physical copies as well? Are you just sticking with like the Bandcamp and Spotify plays?
Yeah, we'd like to eventually do physical music and physical copies of it. I mean, we'd like to get it on vinyl at some point if we can, but it's, you know, it's a money game. You know, it's a matter of, you know, if it's feasible for us to do it or not. Like I said, vinyl's really expensive, and with no backing or anything, it's just four dudes that are coming up with the money themselves. So
right,
as soon as it's you know, we can find a way to do it where it's worth it, we definitely would like to do that for sure. And, you know, aside from that, I mean, you know, putting that out and just playing shows, man. Whoever wants to listen to it, it's up for free everywhere. So
hell yeah,
you know, go hang out, listen to it, jam it, show your friends, and come to a show and hang out. You know, if you can, you know, that's just kind of where we're at with it. You know, having a good time.
Absolutely. And, you know, one of the things I think would be really badass with this, and you don't see a lot of independent musicians do this. You see a lot of, you know, the Metallicas and those bands do it, but getting stuff cut at 45.
Oh yeah, I'd love to do that
for like prime quality, dude. This is like the perfect length for, you know, to have a 12-inch 45 cut.
Oh yeah, that's what we've talked about that for sure. That's definitely the avenue I think we'd take on that for sure.
And what's really cool about it too is, like, I think the land of 14, 16 song albums are gone. Unless you're like a professional, you know, and even still, even on those guys, you know, 12 songs. You know, I think a lot of people are doing shorter albums now.
Yeah. And well, yeah, like you said, unless you're a professional or, you know, you're really on that level to do it, or unless you're a grind band where you're doing 30 songs on an album or whatever.
But it's still only 20 minutes.
Yeah, right, exactly. But yeah, I think you're right. I think that kind of goes back to the attention span thing. You know, everybody's got so much stuff going on these days where it's like you kind of got that sweet spot where, you know, it's at some point, you know, you just don't have time to sit down and listen to 80 minutes worth of music all the time. And, you know, you want to get your fix in and listen to your music. And, you know, if you're like me, I like listening to an album all the way through.
Oh, absolutely.
But, you know, I don't always have just, you know, an hour and a half to set aside, or, you know, if people are doing double discs and everything like that, I don't always have the time. But, you know, if I can, you know, just throw something on that's an hour long. Everybody has a half hour here and there, you know, at some point.
Right. That was my biggest gripe with Senjutsu from Maiden, this their latest album, was it's like 68 minutes. But it was, right. But the way it had, like, the track lengths, the song lengths, whatever you want to say, were so weird that to keep it in the order they wanted to release it in, they had to go and put it on 3 discs, 3 vinyl.
Oh, no shit. Yeah. And the rest of are all into that. I haven't even listened to that album through yet.
Yeah. And it is a very long album. It just feels like it's a super long album to me, even if it's a 2-disc CD. It just feels like it is an eternity.
Yeah, I just listened to to it again recently last week. I was mowing my lawn, and I pretty much got done with my yard by the time the 3 songs were up.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, you know, kudos to those guys for being able to do that. But, like, oh, my gosh, I could not imagine, you know. I know how it is when I write and record and how painstaking it could be. But, like, I know they're doing it professionally and that's what they do for a living. But, like, hell, that just seems like a lot of work.
Yeah, they got their audience. You know, they definitely... And I well, especially with Maiden, I don't think they give a shit what other ones, you know, no one thinks.
Oh, no. They just do what they want to do, for sure. And I think that's, I think that's with everybody, too. I think, you know, talking about Metallica, I think they're the same way, because how many times have they had fan backlash on things that they've released? And yet they're still selling out general admission tickets for $160 a piece.
Oh, I'll pay it.
Right. I have paid it.
Yeah.
Hey, let me tell you guys about Mercenary Press. They're an independent London label and distributor of all things metal. Mercenary Press delivers the goods from their own independent zine. Trust me, you're going to want to get in on that. To distributing various bands from all over the world, including Cramp from Spain and Sadistic Force from Texas. Visit mercenarypress.bigcartel.com to find out what all they have in stock and what you can order. And for Metal Forge listeners, enter code MetalForge to receive a discount on your total purchase at mercenarypress.bigcartel.com. Check it out now. Since 2013, there has been a calling from the underground, from the graves of all those unholy, and they decided to make a zine to talk about all of this. Soulgrinder Zine, an independent metal zine to keep you informed on all things metal and horror from the underground. Available in both print and digital formats, they're bringing you the best interviews and reviews out there today. Not only do they do the zine, but they also do compilation CDs. Check them out at facebook.com/soulgrinder.zine and start your subscription now. So I'm going to go ahead and break away here, and we're going to get into some general profile questions for you guys.
We got a third guy. He rolled in a few minutes late. His name's Mike. He's our drummer.
Okay.
He'll be answering some new questions.
Yes. Have you ever been kicked out of anything? If so, what was it?
That's a perfect question for you, Mike.
I got kicked out of a band that I started. I don't know how that happened, but...
That's odd.
Yeah. Everything's smoothed over now, but yeah, it was puzzling at the time.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, Dave was kicked out of a band he started too.
Yep.
So was Tracy Guns.
Yep. You guys been kicked out of anything?
I've never been kicked out of a band. I've definitely been kicked out of my house. I've been kicked out of ships, whatever. It is what it is.
You ever been Here's one. You ever been kicked out of a concert?
Yeah, been kicked out of shows.
Oh, fuck that.
Yeah.
Never been kicked out of a big show. Just because typically, if I'm paying a lot of money, I want to stay the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Yeah. That would be awful. Pay your $160 ticket like we were talking about for Metallica, and then they fucking eject you for some stupid bullshit reason. Were you ever really passionate about something and then all of a sudden just lost interest?
Oh, yeah. That's happened. I mean, I was a tattoo artist for like 10 years, and, I was really into drawing and physical art and all kinds of stuff like that. And then, it kind of coincided with the recession. When we all hit that recession, I found a new job, but it was time for me to be done with that anyways. I was so like burnt out on just that whole thing. It's a fun job and fun doing it. But yeah, I mean, I was so passionate about it for so long. I mean, I grew up in it. My dad was a tattoo artist for 30 years, and I learned it that way. And then, yeah, I hit a point where I was just like, I just don't want to do this anymore.
Definitely. And yeah, I've got a few artist friends, tattoo artist friends, as you know, and the shit that you all have to put up with from people is ridiculous.
Yeah, and a lot of it's fine and a lot of it's great, but yeah, I mean, there's you get, 2 or 3 people out of 100 that just ruin the whole thing, and it's just like, man, how are you this nitpicky? And you came in here and said you have no artistic skill, and then when I'm trying to tell you what will or won't work, you're just telling me I'm wrong, like I don't do this for a living or something,
Oh, see, and like, to me, like, I see people when I go and get work done, I see the people that come in and I'm just like, what the fuck is wrong with this person? It's like, hey man, I got this drawing, and it's on, like, now it's a picture on a phone, and it's like,
or they'd unfold a notebook piece of paper from their back pocket,
that they've been carrying around since 10th grade. Yeah. And they're 50. Yeah. And they're like, but I don't want this part on here, so if you could just take that out. It's like, you just need to redraw the whole fucking thing.
Yeah, well, and that's, I've definitely been there, and unfold a piece of paper out of his pocket 100 times. It's on this ratty old falling apart piece of paper. Some artist friend that he had in high school that was a hell of an artist drew it with a pen on a piece of notebook paper, and then they're telling me I don't want it this way, or I want it this color. It's like, look, man, I got to clean this up. Oh, no. I want it exactly like this. You're not going to be happy with this exactly on your skin. You're going to be pissed off in 6 months when it's all healed up and everybody's like, well, didn't the artist know what he was doing?
Yeah.
And that's what you get every time somebody sees it,
Or you get the people who smell.
Oh.
That's on a whole other level.
That's a whole different story. Oh, yeah, definitely. Oh, my God.
Who else?
Just came in, just working a full day at work, and I want this tattoo right above my ass crack. Cool, man.
Not at all. Who else has anything like that? Something you're really passionate about, but just lost interest?
For me, I grew up riding BMX and skateboarding, and time got on. I got sick of getting hurt, so I kind of just gave up. Just physically was able to do it. That's why music always stuck around, because I can do that all year round, and I can get it's an outlet, But I still do what we love or passionate about. So there's not too many things where I've had to stop doing.
Definitely. And yeah, the getting hurt thing, doing BMX and skateboarding and shit. Oh, back on the Metallica thing here, they had to postpone the Master of Puppets tour twice because of James breaking body parts and shit.
Oh yeah,
pop ahead, hitting half pipes out there.
Yeah, but I will say, when they did push it back, they did land the greatest fucking tour that they ever could have had, I think, at the time. Because that's when they got put with Ozzy.
Oh yeah, that it definitely worked out. It was that whole story? Yeah, they opened up, and a year to the date, he was opening up for them.
No, I think that was Blue Oyster Cult and Kiss.
Oh,
I think that's that story. But
it's possible. I definitely could be getting all mixed up. Big Kiss fan too.
Definitely. Who or what has made the biggest impression on your life in the last year?
In the last year,
your kid, man.
Yeah, I just had a kid.
Well, congratulations with that.
Yeah, thank you. He turns 1 next week or 2 weeks from now. So that was life altering for sure. It was planned and everything. Tried for a few years to have him, and kind of the timing was great just because of our age and where I'm at financially and everything. It all worked out perfectly. So that was a big thing for me.
Definitely.
Yeah, I don't know if I've had too much going on in the last year that's been real great. A couple deaths in the family, but I guess it all adds up in a culmination to where I'm at now. But yeah, I mean, it's been kind of rough, but not in the worst of ways, and it's definitely trying. But getting through everything. I got a bunch of kids too, but they're all old, so they're all old news by now.
They're all old news.
Yeah, I got one that's going to be 18, and I got a bunch of teenagers, and that adds to the trying times. I mean, I don't know if you have kids, but having teenagers is not an easy task.
So are they into metal?
It's just gonna say they're built-in fans.
That's one of the coolest things is watching kids grow up and stuff, and then watching kind of where their lives kind of take them and everything. And my 15-year-old, he's super into metal, and he loves coming out to shows, and he loves all the bands and stuff that we play with, and he's super into
he shows us new bands.
He really does. He's texting us new bands and stuff. I mean, he finds all kinds of stuff, and he loves it. I love having that conversation with him, and I don't like talking music with a whole lot of people. If you're outside the metal community, I'm sure you know how it is. Like, oh, what kind of music do you like? And they've never heard of any band, but with the exception of the classics or whatever. But he's like, man, he is spot on. He's just like I was when I was 15, just like, man, check this band out. And he loves death metal, he loves doom metal, he loves all the stoner rock, all this, he loves all the extreme music. He's so into it, and I love seeing how he kind of progresses in his own metal journey, I guess.
Definitely. See, that's rad as fuck, because it's like seeing the generation continue.
Yeah. He's like, it's stuff like, it started with the stuff that I liked, I like Metallica, and I like, all the thrash, or, I'm a big Dying Fetus fan. Like, I love that. And then hey, Dad, have you ever heard of Bolt Thrower? I've been listening to Bolt Thrower. I'm like, yeah, I know who that is. And I like Bolt Thrower, but I'm not like super well versed in everything they've done or whatever. But he's just like, he's a huge Bolt Thrower fan. He went off and just started finding stuff by himself, which is, it's awesome.
Definitely. That's one of the raddest fucking things with like Bandcamp now, because you can buy something on there, and then it shows you suggested artists that are similar, and it's almost like the YouTube rabbit hole.
Oh yeah. The same thing with Spotify is the same thing. You get on, and it's you might like all these artists, and or you get the radio thing where it just plays a whole bunch of stuff, and it's like, man, this is cool, I don't know what this is, and then you just go into, like you said, man, just a whole rabbit hole of all new stuff that's just awesome. And like I said earlier, there's so much new stuff that's coming out that's just killer, so like you go down that rabbit hole and it's just awesome.
Hell yeah. Hey, Metalheads, it's with great pleasure I get to tell you guys about a new sponsor to the Metal Forge, Ageless Art, New Albany. After 20 years of owning and operating Ageless Art in Clarksville, Indiana, Phil Garrett had a vision for a new type of tattoo studio. Something that is clean and modern, sleek, refined, inviting. And he's done just that with Ageless Art in New Albany. You can find it at 2736 Charlestown Road, New Albany, Indiana, 47150. Business hours are Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Sundays are 12 to 6. All sessions are appointment only, so give them a call and go get you some new ink. Or if it's your first time, go get your first one, baby.
Hey guys, Wrestling Steve of the Wrestling Steve Show here. So if you're currently listening to the Metal Forge with Mark Jackson, then you understand that Mark Jackson has a pretty discerning taste when it comes to music as a whole. You'll also understand that he has a discerning taste for professional wrestling, just like me. My show is called The Wrestling Steve Show. I talk about modern and classic pro wrestling in a completely unbiased, unfiltered way. Be sure to check me out on all available podcasting platforms. That is The Wrestling Steve Show. And I am the host, Wrestling Steve. Just remember, like Confucius said, man who goes through turnstile in Thailand is going to Bangkok. Pro wrestling.
It's Gonna Get Weird is the name of the podcast. We're on season 2, so you have a whole season to get weird with Frank Green and Scott Clark. The best part is there's always laughter.
Oh, yeah, you can pull that out.
We have national touring comedians, NFL stars, rock stars, your local friends. It always gets weird. Weird answers.
Have y'all ever snorted coke off of a 78 Pinto? No? You ain't no
man.
Weird questions.
Who had a bigger cocaine habit, Jock Sutherland or Kaywood Ledford?
Neither one, because they stopped beating their wives.
And weird we never even thought of.
Well, no. My friend is on acid, and I sent my friend to go find a payphone so that I can call and turn myself in for murdering this guy and ruin my life.
We love all types of people, but we don't love all people.
Weird. It's Gonna Get Weird is the name of the podcast, available everywhere. And thank you to Big X Sports Radio for being a proud sponsor of It's Gonna Get Weird. Frank Green, Scott Clark. Yeah.
If you could hire any wedding singer, who would you choose and what song would you choose?
Adam Sandler.
Oh, come on. Really?
I don't know. I mean, that's just what the first thing that popped into my head. Oh, Tony Clifton, for sure. 100% Tony Clifton.
Yes.
I don't know. That's... I just... Immediately, I just thought Jack Black, but...
Right
I
on.
I don't know. Bruce Dickinson would be me.
There you go. Bruce Dickinson.
Anything I want to hear.
Yeah.
But what songs, though? What song would you have them sing?
Jeez, that's a tough one.
My first answer was I was going to make a joke and say anything from the first two albums. But I don't know. As a kid, it brings me back to being a kid, like wanting to hear, like, oh man, it'd be so cool if Bruce Dickinson sang for Metallica. Just to hear, like, the differences and all that. But
interesting. So you like have Bruce Dickinson singing "Creeping Death"?
Yeah,
that would be cool.
Wow.
Pop those. I would love to hear Hetfield sing
for Maiden.
Anything. He can sing lullabies for all I can.
Shit, I wish they went a little further at the end of, what is it, in Garage?
Garage.
Yeah, when they started doing that Maiden song, I wish they just went further. I don't even care if they played it good, just to hear them all, how they did it. It would have been fun.
Oh, yeah, when they start going into Run to the Hills.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Tony Clifton, I'd have him sing just anything he sings, man. Just any top 40 from that time would be great. Just to hear him just talk shit to every single person in my wedding party would be just the best thing in the entire world.
Definitely. So I've got one more question, but before we get into it, do you guys have any shout outs you want to give today?
Yeah, I mean, just shout out to everybody who supported us. Chicago. Yeah, shout out to Chicago. Shout out to our boys at Wraith. I mean, they've helped us, and they support us and dig us a lot. And anybody who's who supported us and liked the music and
Empire Productions.
Yep.
Hell
all
yeah.
of that.
And our guy Shane, who recorded us.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. And yeah, the dudes in Wraith, kick-ass guys, man. They've been on the show before as well, so need to actually have them on again. It's been a couple of years since they've been on, so...
Yeah, they're a lot of fun, man. We have a good time hanging out with those dudes. We definitely never stop laughing. It's all dick and fart jokes, and that's what we're about.
Right. That's what it's metal. It's what it should be about.
Yeah, damn right.
So, as always, links will be listed below, so please give these guys a like, share, and a follow. Go to the Bandcamp page, purchase the EPs, and just metal the fuck out and stay heavy with it.
Oh, yeah.
Right on.
Last question of the day. If you decide to get cremated, where would you want your ashes spread?
Up someone's nose.
Yes.
I mean, why even say anything else?
Befuddled by that one.
Yeah, why even say anything else?
That is fucking rad. I don't know if anybody could top it, actually.
I don't think we need to. I'm not even going to say anything.
Dudes, seriously, thank you for coming onto the show this week. This has been fucking rad as shit. It's been such an awesome conversation.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Like some of the questions, made you think a little bit. So just definitely had a good time.
Hell yeah. And see, that's what it's all about. On our way out the door today, what are we going to be playing off of the new EP?
Shit, Blood Soaked Cross? Yeah, play Blood Soaked.
All right, guys, you heard them. This is Blood Soaked Cross. Hey, thank you all for tuning into this week's episode of the Metal Forge. I want to take a minute to remind you guys about the Patreon page. Over on the Patreon page, we have the tiers set up to support the production of the show. We feature the Down and Dirty, which is just $1. There's nothing special for that one, it just sends me a thank you because every dollar helps. Then there's the Double Down and Dirty. Much akin to the Down and Dirty tier, everything helps produce the show in the end. You make your presence known, and I appreciate that more than you realize. Thank you for being a dedicated friend and supporter to the Metal Forge. By selecting that tier, you will receive some cool Metal Forge stickers in your mailbox. Now, we're really going to start pounding the metal madness with the Apprentice Metalhead for just $5 a month. By becoming an Apprentice Metalhead, you'll be given early access to the shows, published 24 hours before everyone else gets it. You're also going to receive 3 entries in any contest that we do here at the Metal Forge. You're also going to receive a 10% discount on all Metal Forge merch, and you're going to receive a sweet Metal Forge patch for your battle jacket or backpack. And now, here is the big one. This is the Master Metalhead for just $10 a month. By becoming a Master Metalhead, you will receive a hand-numbered Metal Forge Master Metalhead membership card. You're going to be given early access to the shows as well, with 36 hours before everyone else. You're going to receive 5 entries in any contest that we do here at the Metal Forge. You'll be able to submit audio questions that I will use on the show of you asking questions to the upcoming guests. Remember, timing is everything, and you will need to keep up with the upcoming guest list on the website. You're also going to receive advanced knowledge of any new merch coming out and be given a 25% discount on all Metal Forge merch. And you're also going to get all of the other rewards from the other tiers. So visit patreon.com/Metal Forge Radio today and help support the Metal Forge. Rock on.